Jake, we're in Bizarro world. You've got the laptop. What's going on?
Welcome back to the REI Hot Seat, guys. Your weekly show for deal review and all things multifamily real estate.
And what do we got? And why do you have the laptop?
So we got some listings coming online. There's actually about 3 or 4 of them that are going to be coming out, and we'll do one every week as usual. But I'm controlling the laptop today because this is actually a listing that just came live. It'll be, by the time this airs, it'll probably be on the market for, call it a week.
Jake, when you have the laptop, like, I don't know what to do with my hands.
I'll dive into it. I'll kind of give you the rundown on this. So this is an 8-unit mixed use in Belleville, Ontario. So Belleville, Ontario, if you don't know, is it's on the highway corridor up to Kingston, and people call it the gateway to Prince Edward County. So it's just at the tip where you cross the bridge, and then you go into the island.
Nice.
I'm not from that area, I don't know.
Yeah. But you have frequented, and it is a cool area. You go there.
Absolutely. Yeah. What I have up on the computer here, I'm just going to show everybody kind of the information package we do. We call it the SIM, which is the Confidential Investment Memorandum. It's not that confidential. So we're going to show it to everybody today. So let's call it an information package for the sake of this nice. Conversation here. But this is the property itself. So mixed use. So when we say mixed use, we're talking about a mix of retail or office commercial with residential units usually above that. These are found very commonly downtown in smaller towns, even in bigger towns, whatever. It's usually a downtown type of asset or a main arterial road. So just some photos here. I'll whip through kind of quickly. You will see that everything's very nicely renovated. We'll dive into that. But I want to just give a nice overview here first. So purchase, we're going to be asking $2,075,000 for this building. You will see later on, but that puts it at about a 6% cap rate at asking price.
Fully renoed?
Fully renoed. And I'm going to dive into that before we get into the numbers.
I will try not to ask too many questions till you're done.
Well, let's do it. Let's talk about the renoed, because that's the interesting part about this one. So this is fully stabilized.
Okay.
So we're talking rented out.
Yep, like that.
Commercial's rented, res is rented. We can dive into all that later on.
Commercial tenant is
in there. It's a health and wellness is what's in the lease.
Like that.
So spa, whatever. But what's nice is it's got a nice 5-year lease on it.
I was going to ask.
Right?
That's great.
So that's the big thing. And I'll talk about some of the objections that we usually receive on this type of stuff, and then what we can do to talk about that. But I want to go into the renos. So this building, it was bought, call it 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And the group that bought it actually did a what we can call a ground up rebuild or a ground up renovation. So essentially what happened here is the existing shell of the property remains, but they pretty much rebuilt the entire interior basement all the way up.
And these guys are not new. They're very well seasoned.
They've been around the block. They've done renos before. And so when and if you ask for data room access, you'll see in there is a full file. There's probably 50 files in that folder, all to do with the renovation.
Love that.
So engineering reports, they reinforced it with steel beams.
Oh, they
rebuilt the floors. Wow. They, every unit has been completely redone cosmetically, but also structurally.
Love that.
So essentially, existing older facade, but you're buying a brand new internals.
That's fantastic.
Which is really cool. And I can't stress that fact enough, because a lot of people see it and go, okay, it's your typical 8-unit mixed use property, 18 something build, 100 plus years old. It's going to come with its quirks. This doesn't have that.
Right.
It's very, very cool.
What a smart idea to document all those renovations.
Yeah.
To then allow the buyer to see that.
It's all the stuff you need anyways, right? Like if you go through it, it's going to be your city planning report. So for the first folder in there, you're going to open, it's going to be the plans, the blueprints for the building. What did they do? What renovations? Here's the floor plans, here's mechanical plans, etc. Then we have permit approvals, building permit, electrical permit, plumbing permit, structural engineered permit.
Love it.
All stamped. Then we have, further than that, we have the inspections to say these permits are all closed. So you can actually go through and see.
It's great when you have people that know kind of the structure.
Well, it's super important, right? Because we deal with a lot of people all the time, and they say, hey, fully renovated. Ground up renovation. And I go, great, what do you mean? They're like, we did some
it's a
plumbing,
very vague
we fixed
term,
that
right?
cabinet
Renovated,
over there, right?
Renovated is like marketing. Like, what does that really mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
So That's why we went the extra mile with this one. Really wanted to dive into what are they talking about when they say renovated, ground up build, all these catchwords, right?
Yeah.
So again, anybody who's interested, happy to dive into detail about this, because I did sift through the 50-something files, and it's very boring.
Yeah.
And unless you nerd out on this stuff, you're like, what the heck is this?
And that's why you're so excited about the deal, right?
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool because I'm passionate to sell it, knowing that somebody that buys it's going to get a good quality product that's up to modern standards. Basically a new building, right?
A restomod in the car world.
It's a restomod. That's exactly what it is.
I love it. Let's make that a thing. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I knew that would land with you, car guy.
I was looking at that this morning, actually.
Restomods?
Yeah,
They're
I was looking
so
at like
cool.
an old like Toyota Land Cruiser, but like fully.
You're hot on the Land Cruiser.
I am.
You're gonna buy one, aren't you?
Yeah. I'll figure it out. Anyways, back on track. So restomod of a building. What's really cool is they also took the opportunity during these renos to submeter everything.
Oh, fantastic.
So
for everything?
For everything.
You don't see that often.
It's cool.
And man, does it help.
And I asked that question probably 4 times. So if the sellers are watching this video, they'll hopefully get a giggle, because I kept saying, fully separate.
Everything?
Like everything?
Because in your defense, we hear it's metered.
Yeah.
And it's never fully metered.
Yeah.
Well, it's rarely fully metered. It's metered
Well,
for...
the landlords always say, separately metered, fully separately metered. It's like,
what is? Everything.
Everything. Okay, great. Water? Oh, no, not water.
Water, no.
What about gas? Well, sort of. The gas is, here. So
it's a hydro.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So this one, no. They did the, I don't know what company or system they have for the meters, but there's actually a photo we have in the data room, and it is the meters themselves.
Great.
So you can see that they submetered the water.
Fantastic.
The gas is submetered. Well, gas is submetered for the commercial tenant. The res tenants actually have mini split. Ductless mini splits.
Okay, great.
So heat
it truly is
heat and cooling
metered.
electric.
Yeah.
They pay their own water, and then they have electric baseboard backup heat just in case something goes wrong with those systems. So they, again, just another
sounds to
level.
me like an MLI energy efficiency if they've done the baseboards, the heating. Is that
So there is a component to that, right? Okay. So as we know, MLI is not getting you that 100 points. And we're kind of jumping all over the place, but it's good.
Well,
it's good questions.
That's my ADD, yes.
MLI is not getting you the 100 points anymore these days, but you can still get a level 1, I believe even a level 2 with some accessibility.
Do they have the attestation?
They do.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we have the efficiency, we have the
Sorry, we're
reports.
in the weeds. So just for context for the viewers, that is the report that's done to say that there's been a certain amount of energy upgrades from where it was as a baseline to where it is now, and you actually need that when you submit to CMHC if you're going to use energy efficiency.
Exactly.
So that's awesome.
Yeah. So they have all this stuff. Like it's a really well packaged deal. And then we can boil down to cosmetic renovations just quickly. So everything's been cosmetically renovated. All the units are basically brand new. In-suite laundry. They have the separate heating and cooling systems on the tenant. They have the radiant baseboard backup, right? Which I want to talk about because a lot of people go, why would you put radiant baseboard? It's so expensive. Well, the mini split system, right? Although they are getting more reliable, can break down. And if that's your main heating source, and it's middle of winter,
you're in trouble.
You need your backup heat,
You're in trouble,
right? So they went with the radiant baseboard, which shouldn't be used unless it needs to be if something broke or something like that. But that just shows the forethought.
Yeah, and then the heat pumps have a certain rating after a level.
So
but it's pretty wild now, isn't it?
It is. So the last ones I installed were up to -30.
Wow.
So up to -30.
Pretty damn close as of late, aren't we?
Yeah, seriously, right? It would still heat efficiently. And it doesn't say that it doesn't heat after -30. It just says the efficiency of the heat drops off.
Right.
So you might want some sort of backup system. That's what they're looking at there. I'm going to take a sip of this coffee. I've been holding it up here, covering my face.
So while you do that, I have so hopefully I'm not taking us on too many whimsical journeys
Let's
here.
do it, because I do want to dive into numbers. But
it sounds to me like this level of work is usually done by people that are planning to keep it. So maybe you can help me understand why are they selling. I actually know the answer, but curious.
Yeah. Well, why don't you say the answer?
This is their model.
I had a very brief
They don't keep buildings. That's their model. Yeah. So
Yeah.
what these guys do, what this group does, is they do full overhauls like this. This is their strength. They get it ready to go to CMHC. and they sell it. So the new buyers take possession,
Yep.
they go and get CMHC debt on it, and away they go. Their model isn't to buy and hold and prosper, which is what a lot of people do. It's buy, renovate, and then sell and move on.
Perfect. If you know the answer, I'm just going to cook because I'm going to say it. And you're
I
gonna
know.
go, well, that's wrong.
I know,
right?
because
So-
I had that very specific answer. Yeah. Fair.
And then again, I'm just for people watching. Here's the floor plan. So again, we've pulled floor plans out of the construction package. You can see. So you have res unit and retail on the main, and then you have 2 more floors of res unit there.
And that res unit on the main floor is really critical,
Yeah,
because if that wasn't there,
Yeah.
we would not be talking about CMHC.
correct. One more thing to note: that ground floor unit is fully legal.
Is
So-
my next question. Nice.
So it's something that, you think ground up build, obviously they're doing it legally, but we do have documentation from the city showing that they actually rezoned it to
Fantastic.
allow for a ground floor rear facing unit.
And you need that for CMHC.
Right.
Because a lot of times people can jam a unit in there, but if it's not recognized, you
Yeah.
can't use it with CMHC.
Exactly.
And then you wouldn't go there.
Exactly.
And is that a studio unit?
I'll let you know right now here. Hold on, let me go to the rent roll. So we're looking at, it's 1 bed. They're all 1 beds.
Oh, 1 bed on the main floor. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Checking a lot of boxes here, Jake.
Yeah, 1 bedroom. Yeah, I'm just double checking on the floor plan. to make sure.
Fantastic.
So yeah, all the units are 1 beds, and then the retail space.
Great.
So we can dive in the numbers quickly here. I know Dave's more of the numbers cruncher. You can see here, I just whipped this together quickly for the podcast. There might be errors in here, so don't hold me to this, but we do have the package. So again, you'll see 8 units here. We have accurate square footages, and then we have the lease term. So there's currently 2 vacancies,
Okay.
right? Recently renovated, so naturally they're doing their final lease up here. Traction seems to be pretty good. We're getting about 1,600 per unit consistently.
16, and they're covering their own utilities.
Water and hydro. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
So,
And are all the leases, I mean, I would imagine they're all new because of the renovation?
yeah. So we have the move-in dates here. So you'll see, like, So unit 301 moved in like Q4 of 24. So that
Okay.
would have been like right after the reno,
Good.
right? And that may have been something that was renoed first, or I don't know what the story is, but anyway, so that one was right away. Then you'll see there was one in 25 here, and then a few others in 26.
I prefer
So-
that because when you see they're all kind of at one time,
Yeah.
you tend to get a little weird turnover sometimes. So there's some
And listen,
stability
like-
to these tenants.
Some people may have moved out already and they got new tenants in, right? Like, these are just the nature. Sometimes
Yeah.
people stay for a year, sometimes they leave, right? And so it's something important to talk to about vacancy rates and expectations. And
And a nice like a building like that, like, we use a rule of thumb of 10% turnover annually a year, which is a wide range, right? Sometimes more, sometimes less, but that's, 0.6 of a unit.
Yep.
That was done in 2 years, right? That's a unit and a half, basically. So that resonates. That
Yep,
makes sense.
Checks out. So happy to dive into this more with anybody. I'll talk a little bit on the commercial tenant because that's important,
Please, yeah.
right? A lot of buyers that traditionally go to CMHC just want res.
Yeah.
Give me res. I just want res. I don't want to deal with commercial. Commercial lease up takes long. The tenants, yada yada. I hear it all, and it's interesting because I have a lot of clients who were on that train, and we converted them into buying some mixed use.
Mm-hmm.
And now when they call me, all they do is complain about the res tenants, and it's funny. Like, we
Well,
laugh about it, right? Because they're
I'm
like,
that guy.
yeah.
Like, I did this exact journey.
You're a perfect case for
And
it, right?
I
have another
never
client and
hear
I'm
from
thinking
my commercial
specifically
tenants. Never.
where it was always, no, I don't want to deal with commercial. Commercial takes forever. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And then we're like, hey man, this is a great deal. You should buy it. You bought it. That was a deal out in kind of southwestern Ontario. Anyways,
Mm-hmm.
very similar to this deal actually. So mixed use downtown kind of thing, fully renoed, really nice. And he's done really well with that property. And it's funny, the res rents have softened, but the commercial rents have actually increased.
Yeah, yeah.
So he's come back to me saying like, hey, my commercial tenants are actually floating the boat right now. My res tenants are being the difficult ones. And
That is my story. Yeah.
and life is great because you
Yeah.
don't have to deal with tenant landlord board. Yes, they do take longer to lease out, right? I'm not sugarcoating it. So
But it's funny, like, my commercial tenant's amazing. I have no trouble with them. And when I first placed place them. You get that feeling because it's your first one. Oh, what would happen? What would happen? And now, you know, they're good. They're not leaving. But if they did, I'm actually going to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like there's some good quality opportunity for an increased lift. So
and the retail market's really strong right now, right? Businesses are opening, they're moving, they're growing, they're doing what they need to do. So they put a tenant in right at the start, so 2024. They signed a 5-year lease.
Okay.
Okay, so they have a number of years left on this lease. There are options to renew.
Okay.
So the tenant has the right to renew for another, I think, 5 years and 3 years. I'll double check that. But very solid lease. I went through the whole thing. It was written well. There is terms for escalations in there as well, which I want to make a note of. Now they've tied the escalations to the CPI.
Okay.
Is it CPI? Is that the right acronym?
Yeah.
Trying to think.
The consumer price
Thank
index.
you. Consumer price
you got
index.
it. Yeah.
So they've tied it to that, and then they've tied it to the taxes of the building, right? Because it's a gross lease, but I imagine within that gross lease they've accounted for a component of proportionate share of the building, right? So this tenant operates the ground floor, the commercial space. If our taxes increase by X amount, we can then increase the rent by X amount.
Love it.
To offset that tax. So really smart. I like the way they wrote that lease. I was very happy when I saw that. It wasn't napkin. It was
legit.
It was good. Yeah. It was done on the REI agreement, but it was still a very solidly written lease. So you have a good quality tenant. You have a great lease that you're going to be assuming with this property. You know, and these are things that you shouldn't be too concerned about. Again, you're downtown. There's other business in the area.
Yeah.
Right. If this tenant decides to leave, you know, we can help you lease it.
Well, that's usually
not a
the
big
one.
deal.
You look around, you just stand in front of it and you look around,
Yeah.
and every store is filled.
Yep.
So you're going to be just fine.
Yep.
And we've been in other really far markets, and Cobalt, Ontario is a good example.
Every other store is empty.
And
right?
it's every other store is empty, and you're going, well, this probably is a concern. So yeah, that's good to hear. Not surprising knowing the area, but it's good.
So that's the big thing for me, right? When you're looking at these mixed-use buildings, historically, if you're a res landlord, your concerns are going to arise about CMHC eligibility, and you're going to have concerns about commercial tenant placement and longevity. So
going back to the numbers, so it's a 6 cap. What I'm presuming the sellers will let a buyer take it to CMHC in time to do so?
Correct.
Okay.
So this is something we've worked out. So the sellers actually already, as you mentioned earlier, they did package a CMHC application for this. So we already have a term sheet from one lender. Now that was done a little while back.
Yep.
I'm confident we can actually get better terms. So I personally have not used that to do my underwriting.
Right.
I'm using my own numbers and my own contacts. I called the lender. I said, hey, what would you do for this property?
Great.
So that's already all been done. But completely eligible, and you still can get that level 1 MLI, which helps you with your debt service.
Yeah.
Not that you really need it on this, because your debt service is going to be very solid.
At a 6 cap for sure.
Yeah.
It also reduces the premium as well, if I'm not
Correct.
mistaken. So that helps.
Correct.
A
It
lot.
does.
Yeah, the CMHC premium.
Yeah. So very quickly, we can just run through this. So here's the pro forma. I always show a 5-year pro forma. That's the way we sell our properties. I want to show people, what does your potential growth look like over the next 5 years? So that's what we've done here. You'll see that I've included a 3.3% vacancy for res, which is current CMHC data.
Okay.
So we've built in that buffer already, right? And most people would just throw 2% in there or 2.5%. We've taken actual data, 3.3%. That's what it's
Especially on the
showing.
listing, nobody ever puts the actual. They always put 2.
I like
So
to,
good
because
for
then
you.
at least we can argue, and people go, oh, vacancy, right? Like, I always hear that argument,
Yeah.
is vacancy. And then I can say, well, listen, we're grabbing the best possible data we can grab right now. And I'm not sugarcoating it.
No, it's good. It's good.
And then we're showing the commercial at 5% vacancy, right? Again, that's kind of industry standard. Most people will throw 5% in there. It's not vacant, and it won't be vacant for another 3 years at a minimum. So
The nice thing too is the commercial tenants are quite forthcoming with what's going on in their life.
Yeah.
They know, hey, the business is this is what's happening. Hey, can we extend? Can we stay longer? Or hey, we're probably not going to extend. And then you start to plan accordingly.
Yeah, and you have a nice provision. Most leases will have a renewal provision or a cancellation provision. So if you're going to terminate at the end of your lease, you have to provide 6 months notice. If you're going to renew, you have to provide 6 months notice. 6 months at the right price should be sufficient to find a new commercial tenant.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So really, you should be able to place a new tenant before the old tenant even leaves.
Yeah, you're placing
and
you're placing tenants quickly.
yeah,
in commercial.
it's
booming.
decent right now.
Yeah.
The market's decent for that.
So 5 is good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So expenses, so we've taken actual expenses, we've run CMHC expenses just as we normally do, right?
Mhm.
This is what you're going to see if you look at any of our listings or my listings. I know Dave runs it very similarly.
Yep.
So property tax 2025 final bill, insurance premium, you have your underwriting guideline for repairs and maintenance,
Mhm.
salaries, management, et cetera, et cetera. So it's all there. Except I will make one exception here, whereas we run the property management at the actual property management rate.
Okay.
Why I've done that is because this is an assigned property management contract that's active today. They're willing to stay on for a new owner.
Okay. Good.
So
And what are they doing and
So
what are they getting paid?
yeah, so they're $300 a month right now, flat fee.
Like that?
So that is based on the effective gross income, that is a 2.32% management fee.
Love that. We love
And
that.
the reason why I've included this is because I've run through the contract. The contract's in the data room. Anyone can take a look at it. It is very robust. It talks about tenant management,
Yeah.
collecting rents, taking care of the building, weekly check-ins, all the stuff that you would expect out of typical property management. Now, there's obviously a whole bunch of a la carte items in there, right? You need
That's
this, you need
standard.
that, you're going to pay for it.
Yep.
So be it. That's why we've included a salaries line. But I normally wouldn't include a property management contract in here, but going through this, I went, this is a great contract. If the property manager is doing a good job, which we can interview him, I would highly recommend somebody keep that property
Does he live
management.
there or is he offsite?
Offsite,
Yeah, fantastic.
local,
That's a good price, man.
but willing to stay on,
Fantastic.
right? So
Great. I'm with
I'm
you.
showing it that way, right? As a buyer, if you want to show it as 2%, 3%, 5%, 10%, whatever the heck you want to
Yeah,
do,
yeah.
let's run it that way as
Yeah.
well. But this is actual, and I can back that up.
Okay.
So that's why I'm showing it that way. We can go into acquisition financing. Again, this is kind of super rough, right? Because I haven't done
Yeah.
the deep dive on the financing side yet. But so $2,075,000, that's $293 per square foot.
Okay.
So I've run it on a per square foot basis. That's a 5.9% cap rate. You could get upwards of 85% loan to value, 5-year term, 40-year AM. And then the rate that I received last week was 4.25%.
Makes sense.
Okay. That's a 135 debt service at the asking price, 31,000 a year cash flow.
Nice.
So all in all, it's got really good bones to
Yeah.
be a very
Yeah.
solid investment.
Cash on cash?
I didn't actually do the cash on cash. That's
You
why I
used to harp
paused,
on
because I was
me.
like, cash
You
on
harp
cash.
on me all the time, but that's and we've been doing a lot of cash on cash with mortgage pay down. That
Yeah.
seems to be the number people want to see. So we've been doing that a lot
Yeah.
more. That's good.
I'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah. No,
I'll
so
calculate it.
fantastic. Okay. So nothing to be done. Time to go to CMHC.
Yep.
Working with property management, they're willing to stay on.
Yep.
I know in conversations with the owner, I know they're not going to do this, but it's an option. They're so bullish on the work that they did that they were actually talking about like how interesting it would be if there was a carry-on agreement for restomod buildings.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty cool idea. So like, the theory was that they'd be willing to, put their name behind it for a couple of years, say, hey, look, if anything needs to be done, we'll cover it.
Yeah.
Which you don't tend to get into the weeds on conversations like that from owners unless they've done the level of work these guys have done.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
And that's it. Like I'm a data guy. I love to be confident when I'm talking about a product. I love to say, hey, you don't believe me? Check the data room, right?
Mhm.
Like it's there, and I've gone through it. Spent the last 2.5 weeks going through it.
Yep.
Very good grasp on what's happening here. The only thing I'm waiting on is leasing updates. So as those 2 vacancies become leased, I'll update, put that in their performa, let everybody know. So
Yeah, and presumably the buyer could either take that over
yep.
or make it a condition that, hey, we need these filled.
Yeah, we see that a lot, right?
Yeah,
It's
we do that as
get
well.
these filled up, rental guarantee.
Yeah, or
right? There's a bunch of ways to get around a couple vacant units. Now, the whole building's vacant, it's a different deal structure, but it's 2 vacancies actively being leased. Rather than saying lease it before we close, because as a selling agent, I don't love that because then it can hold up a closing date.
Yeah.
I like dates. I like solid timelines to say this is when we're closing. So I would actually recommend to the seller, not saying these guys are open to doing this or not, I haven't talked to them about it, but would be a rental guarantee, right? So, hey, we have up until this date to close. If not, then we'll cover the vacancy cost up to 3 months, 6 months,
Yeah.
whatever it may be.
That's actually
So then
great. That's a much better idea.
That's-
I
that's-
typically do it like you as the seller have to fill it, and we'll approve the person going in. But to your point, it delays sometimes, right?
Well, and that can
that's
get
a great way to do it.
that can get pretty muddy because you're going to deal with. Let's put this here. I'm tired of this being on my lap. This is a good conversation now.
Yeah.
My challenge with that is, I'm the seller. I'm now motivated to just shove a tenant in there, find anybody, get it leased. You have to approve that tenant, right? So now you have two options to have a challenging deal where the seller, the buyer is consistently saying, "Well, not good enough."
So I've had
Not
that.
good enough.
I've had that, and
Right.
she was very specific about the people or persons they want in there, and then the sellers. And we put, the buyer will not unreasonably withhold, which is also a vague term. But we started to get some the selling agents started to bring some really good candidates.
Yeah.
The buyer's like, no, and at one point it's like, holy smokes, like
Yeah.
you're gonna have to start accepting these.
Yeah.
Right, like this is a problem. So it is a smart way to mitigate that. Just a rental guarantee.
Yeah, it's anything that can delay closing or anything that's not finite, right? There's no, we need an end, right? We need to know where this ends, when the time is. Yes, I agree. Almost all of my offers have it in there, which says that the seller, once unconditional, the buyer has the right to decide which tenants are being taken or not. But that shouldn't delay closing.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So we'll work through all
Smart.
of it.
Very
But
smart. So what's the strategy on this? Is this off market? Is it on market? What's happening?
yeah,
here?
so this is going to be on market. We're going to be within a week. It should be live. Well, by the time this episode comes out, it should be live. It's going to go live today.
Yeah.
If you're in our insider list, you'll get an email directly to you. It's going to give you all the information, direct access to the data room, everything you need to see. And yeah, honestly, if you have questions, like give us a shout. I'm excited for it. I want to get down
This is a
there and
good
start
one.
doing
This will sell.
tours.
This will sell.
And yeah, it should be up shortly.
Good one. Nice. Thanks, guys.
Any
Well,
other
if you made it this far, like, subscribe. We've gotten a lot of good feedback of what people want to see, market updates people want. So we'll put out another episode. I guess it'll come out the week after this one for market updates. You and I have been flirting with the idea of bringing in some guests. So I think we're going to have some guests lined up as well. And we haven't had yet, but we're offering people to put deals that they're looking at or their own deals in, and we'll review them and analyze them. And we could even do it beforehand and send the people that send us the info and give them a little breakdown, because I think there's some hesitancy that we get on and we just rip the deal apart.
Well, I had a couple other agents reach out to me and actually asked. They said, "Hey, can you do one of my deals on your show?" Which was interesting. But that was the caveat. He said, "But you have to send it back to me first, so you guys."
That's
don't
fair.
absolutely
That's
tear it
fair.
apart."
But I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. If I think it's a shitty deal, I'm gonna
100%.
tell you it's a shitty deal.
And that's what we agreed on. As I said, listen, okay, I'll do the deal. I'm going to say what I want to say, but I'll run it by you first. If you don't like it, we won't air it.
Yeah.
Right? Kind of simple.
Or we
Because I
just
don't
delete
wanna-
the address and then we rip it apart and then you don't use it.
I just
right?
don't want to sugarcoat things, right? You know how we are.
Well,
so.
then we just waste our time. So fantastic.
Right on, guys. Thanks for sticking around, and we'll see you next week.